Hello, so in this tutorial I'll show you how can you create a page in a very simple way just by drag and dropping, where that page uses some rules that we create in our data access layer. So for the sake of this tutorial we'll use exactly the same database diagram that we have been using in the other tutorials, which is the school student and the teacher diagram, where basically we'll just show a list of schools, but using the data access layer. So first I'll show you how to do this through the Ibatis data access layer, through a query that we create automatically, and second I'll show you how to do this through Hibernate. Very fast, very clean. So first thing to do is to log in our framework, choose the advanced workspace, the correspondent project, and go to advanced items so we can see our data access layers. So we go to the Ibatis first. We can see that there are no queries created here, so we just create some automatic queries for the sake of this tutorial. So I showed you before in the previous tutorials how to do this, so I'll not explain this now. I'll just do this very fast. Same thing for the Hibernate layer. We'll just create some default objects here. Okay, done. So currently the Hibernate and the Ibatis data access layer, the HORN and the IHORN layers, they already have queries. Okay, so we go back to our presentation layer, to our interface layer. So currently we have page here called index. If we do the preview to show us just that has the default templates. So what we want to do is we want to click it so we can open the editor of this page. So it opens, we just close this pop-up, and automatically I'm seeing here the regions of that correspondent template. So we want to drop here a list of schools. So there are multiple ways of doing this. I'll just show you one of them. So we go to modules here, modules, blocks and DB drivers. We open the DB drivers, we choose the DB diagram, and we go to schools. Here in schools, we can see that we have an item called list items HTML. So we just drag and drop it here, and automatically it opens another pop-up. In these pop-ups there are two ways of we show this interface. So the first thing that we'll do through a block file, which is through the modules, and then after we do the other one. So just do the view, simple view list. Well, as a matter of fact, we could do the edit. Okay, we just do the edit and we just click proceed. Automatically it will open the files diagram pop-up. So we close this pop-up first, and we can see here the files diagram pop-up, where we can drag other lists, we can drag views and forms and other things. Basically we can set forms inside of lists and views inside of forms or inside of lists if we wish to. So basically it allows us to do a bunch of things. So let's just erase this. That's not the purpose. So what we did was we just drag the school lists. That's what we want. So it defaults, it creates already this task here where we can see the properties and we can change if we wish to. We can add conditions if we wish to, alias and other things. Currently we have here that is possible to update and to delete. So we have a bunch of actions here, paginations, we can see the UI, we can change this to here. So we can do a bunch of things. So currently we'll just click here continue, and we'll see the previous pop-up that appeared in the beginning, and we have here two options. Or we can ask our system to create in our presentation directly the SQL queries, and then we'll connect directly to the database server, or we can ask him to find if exists any business logic services or any data access rules already created and use them instead. So that's what we want to do for the sake of this tutorial. So we just click in this button, continue with existing services and rules. Automatically will show us the layers that the presentation layer is linked with. Currently the presentation layer is linked with the business logic layer, both data access layers and the DB layer too. So currently what we want to do is we want ask the system to find just the rules in the data access layer in the Ibatis data access broker. So we just select the IHORN, we click next, find the existing services and rules. Automatically it found here. We can see here that it found all these actions here. If we can expand, we can see what this did. So it's calling a Ibatis broker, and is calling here the correspondent query of that data access, as we can see here. So basically we don't need to do anything else. If it doesn't find, it will show us an error, so then we can proceed accordingly. For now everything is working fine, so we just click in the next button, which is to create the files. So basically it checks if the files, if they are validated or not. All of them are validated, are correct, so we just do the last action, save files above. Okay, we did it, it already created the file, so, and it will show us automatically, it creates basically a block module that will show us by default the list of schools, and that list, it is editable. So we just save this page, and when we see the page now here, we can see that we have here an editable list. So basically what the system did was create a bunch of files, so I could edit and I could delete, so I could update the schools and I could delete automatically the files via Ajax, and it created me the correspondent block. So this block that you create here, that we are seeing here, I can edit here, or I could just click it through here. Basically, if I click in this button, the pencil icon, it will edit that specific block. So this block, it's loading. So currently it is a form module block that basically I can show you here that it's the form module. That what it does basically is something similar with Zapier, which has a bunch of sequential actions that we can change in no code and low code. As you can see here, I can do a bunch of things here. I will not change this for now. It's just to show you an example. So same thing that we did here through Ibatis, I can do this in the IHorn. So how can I do this? So I'll drop this once again. I choose the block. I can edit it or not. Let's just put the remove example. I proceed, and this time, instead of choosing the IHorn, I'll just choose the HHorn. I'll put next. Basically you just need to do next, choose the selected options and just do next. Okay, it created already, and as we can see, it creates here the HHorn block correspondent. So if I save this, it will show me this in a should show me two lists in here, one based in Ibatis and another one based in the Hibernate. So this is just an example how to show you how can you, just by drag and dropping, how can you do this through the blocks files, through the modules. If you don't like to do this through the modules and you want a more user-friendly, more flexible way, you can use the HTML widgets, which in that case you need to choose here HTML, which I showed you before in the previous videos. If you want, we can do this in a very fast way. So we can just, let's just erase these blocks and let's just drop one here, so you can see this very fast. So we want this to be editable, we just do the proceed, and automatically the system will try to find. In this case you cannot tell to the system that I just want him to find the rule in the data access layer. No, so the system in this case what will do is will try to see if you have services first in the business logic layer. If you don't have, will try to create them, and only if it cannot do, then you'll try to find in the data access layer and then try to connect it. And only if he cannot do it, he will see if there is any DB layer that he has access to directly, and if he does, he will create automatically the SQL in the presentation layer and will execute the corresponding actions directly in the database. But first, the priority is always business logic services. So in this case you cannot filter saying, oh, I don't want the business logic services, I just want the data access layers. No, in here that's the system will try to find first the business logic services. Although you cannot ask the system to find the rules only in the data access layers, discarding the business logic layer, you can always execute this, let the system do whatever he needs to do and find in the business logic layer, and then you can, yes, change these individual items or you can go to the correspondent resources that the system created automatically, which are these resources here. It's like the Zapier kind of look, like sequential actions. And then in here, instead of calling a specific the business logic services, you can then call the data access rules. That's one thing that you can do if you wish to, of course. So this is what he did. He created a bunch of HTML widgets, which are all of these are editable, and I can change a bunch of stuff. So as you can see, this correspondent template, it doesn't have all the icons, so we are using a Bootstrap library. So you needed to install the correspondent template, which has that Bootstrap library, so you could see the correspondent result. Currently we don't have that. So this is just to show you an example of what we can do. And that's it. Thank you very much.